Go for this thing.
Right.
We're on.
We're on. Beer's ready. You have to try and clean up the language a little, this is public.
I know. I was thinking about that all day today. I'm like, I have a hard time keeping my Tourette's under control, but I'll do my best.
I was watching some show, and I was actually quite surprised by the amount of like F-bombs and everything else. But then I was like, no, this is like real talk. I was like pleasantly satisfied that, you know what I mean? They were keeping it real. Look at everybody coming in. What's going on, everybody?
Ooh, wow.
Big shout out to Hicks House for that beautiful design that he's made us.
Yeah. Hey, Brent.
Nice. Oh, we got Jerry in the house. He's logged on this time.
Oh, I'm missing my footrest here. Jer, what's up, dog? Zach, look at the
Jerry, are you up in Maine right now? I think Jerry is in Maine. He's doing something. He's like more north than some of Canada right now.
What's he doing there?
I forget. Beer. Yeah, cheers. Beer.
I want a beer real bad, but I woke up feeling a little stuffy this morning, so I'm having a wiki.
Man, I am finally like starting to recover a little bit from my allergies. Like it's been 2 weeks of absolute hell, and
really?
things are starting to normalize a little bit finally. But down in GA, Dave Cross, what's going on, man?
You're brutal. Okay, now before I say this, I want to make sure that I'm not messing anybody's name up.
Hey, don't ban anybody like you did that one time.
I know, right? Oh, it is. Okay. Curtis, I seen him say what's up from Saskatoon. Here we go. Hello from Saskatoon. Okay, for anybody on the gram, actually, Curtis, I don't know if your account's private or public. I mean, I can see it because we're following each other on there, but this guy is building a wicked black GT, which quite honestly looked like it was a pretty clean GT before he tore into it. But like this thing is above and beyond and doing it all himself in his garage. So go check this guy out. Now the handle is at SLO_FOX Fox_ Canuck. CANUCK.
Nice.
Anyway, Chris, yeah, shout out to you, buddy. We had chatted a couple of times. He's like, maybe I can get this car glued together and join you guys on this crazy adventure.
Actually, you know what? There is somebody that I want to shout out as well. He sent me a message today. His name's Brody. He's got his own YouTube channel, which let me pull it up here. He's actually got a pretty good following. He's got, well, of course, now it's making me watch ads. Now I feel everybody who watches our stuff, you know what I mean? So his channel is BC, like BEE, then CEE, almost like a Bucky, you know?
Yeah, Boosies.
So BC built. And he's got about 12K subs, and he just picked up an 87 GT T-top. Like pretty.
And sorry, is this on the YouTube or Instagram?
This is on the YouTube.
Okay.
And this is a new project of his. I'm going to be honest, I didn't check out any of his other projects because he just sort of hit me up on Instagram and said, hey, man, watch your stuff. And I picked up this car, and he actually goes into a little bit of Fox body worth and values in 2024. Oh, and nice. He's like, you might find it interesting. And actually it was. I watched that last part, and man, he brought up marketplace listing after listing after listing, showing like everybody's price cuts. And that was from like low-end parts cars all the way up to like nicer stuff, and then Dreamer stuff all in there. There was cars that were like started at 8,000, and he shows them like 6 weeks later down to 2,000. And it's just kind of echoing some of the stuff that we had said before. Of things.
Buddy, what's his channel again? I'm just trying to look it up. I'll put it in the comments. B-E-E-C-E.
Let me write this so that you don't mess it up.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh yeah, BC built.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Chuck's in the house.
Subscribe.
Man, maybe we should drive Chuck's car.
Ooh, does he want
that'd be a good like little break-in / shakedown,
Oh,
all right.
Tom in the hizzle.
Hey,
we got a fun
we could ban him.
Yeah. We got a fun pod coming up with the boys from the 50 Asylum dropping tomorrow. So make sure everybody checks that out. That was a ton of fun, man. I like few times in that pod, I was trying to catch my breath. I was laughing so goddamn hard.
Chuck says we can as long as he can come. So maybe we just ship his car. We'll ship it to you. He can drive his own car back.
Yeah. Well, and I guess we should maybe not waste anybody else's or any more of anyone's time and probably get into the conversation surrounding this, hey?
Yeah, I think it's because it's 6 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal, folks. Our plan A, we do have a plan B, but we'll circle back to plan B after we lay out plan A. Plan B is more or less a West Coast to East Coast tour that starts in Canada, British Columbia, Canada, and ends in Dearborn, Michigan at Motor City Foxfest. Now we should probably pull the dates up. Hey, buddy, that we were thinking?
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
Okay. So we got to scoot over to July.
And then here's a really important point, guys. If any of you should be interested and you want to start from the beginning, this is really important. If you don't have a passport, you need to go get one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll be seeing you in Montana.
Yeah, which isn't the end of the world either, because we want to be, I guess, as clear and concise on all of this as possible. We're just trying to glue together like a wingnuts version of, hey, do you want to do this with us? Like, there's no pressure, there's no nothing. I mean, hell, if you just want to, as we go through your town, convoy with us for 100 miles, like, who cares, right? Anything goes. But if you want to do the full meal deal, start to finish, this is kind of what we're going to discuss first and foremost. But again, anything goes and anybody's welcome. Okay. Okay, dude, I got to make sure I got the dates right because we screwed this up the first time, right? So it was leave.
Sorry, go ahead.
Leave July 5th, right?
4th.
Friday, July 5th.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. So we start though, technically the like you gotta be ready Thursday the 4th with your car in Kelowna, BC, because we will be leaving first thing Friday morning on July the 5th. Now, I guess Timothy's question that I just highlighted here. Yes, guys, you can technically pick up at any point here. We're just really trying to map it out from start to finish and then figure out, if we pick up more people along the way, or some people don't have passports or they don't want to deal with cross borders or logistics and stuff like that. We completely get it. Going to Nick 50's comment, where he's like, maybe I'll just buy a car out west and drive it back.
Now we're talking.
I like your style. We do have some possible arrangements for trucking that can pretty much, if you can get your car to Detroit or Windsor, which is, the Canadian, you can pretty much throw a stone from Detroit across the river to Windsor. We can actually get transport from there all the way to Kelowna, kind of like group rate thing. And then that way you would have to fly out and meet your car. We would have to find a holding point, whatever. Well, we can sort all those little nitty gritty things out. We're really just kind of throwing it out there to say, hey, this is what we've planned. These are the options available. If you want to truck your car out, you want to drive your car out, you want to buy a car out there and do the route, those are all options.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, again, no pressure. There's like whatever anybody wants to do. Heck, if you want to truck your own car out here, anything goes. But we're just trying to present an option for people that want to go, you know what? I want to be kind of hands off and just show up. My car's there and boom, we go kind of thing. So, and if there's enough interest in this, then Chris and I will go to greater lengths than we already have to kind of loosely map this out, and we'll put an official deal together. So leave Friday, July 5th, arrive in Dearborn, Michigan, Wednesday, July 10th, 5-day trip. Okay. And let's get to the official presentation. I feel like we're all corporate here, buddy.
I know. Jerry's like, hurry up with the map.
Okay.
You should tell him to buy us a beer and we'll show the map. He buys us a lot of beer. Just playing.
Pull this up. Actually, you know what? We should let's put another, sorry folks, put another deal in here so everybody knows what Kelowna is all about too.
Yeah, so Kelowna is in the land of the Great White North with all the polar bears and igloos where Gary lives.
Okay, let's present. Share screen. Entire screen. Sharing. Okay. Actually, let's go map first.
Oh, that's your famous winery, like your little intro.
You
had there.
It might be.
Oh, Jerry, man. Damn.
Yeah, it actually is.
Thank you, Jerry. Cheers. Bought some beer.
Oh, Jer, what a fella. Thanks, dude. Okay, map first. Where the hell's map? There we go. So we've kind of laid this out in like a what?
Look at this. Look who just came in.
Oh my God.
Is it him though?
We got to present hard here so he bites on this trip.
Show us your Crocs first.
Not your crotch, your Crocs. Okay. This thing started from Vancouver, interestingly enough. I don't know why. But anyway, we've laid this out in like roughly 500-mile intervals. Okay. So again, starting in beautiful British Columbia, Kelowna, this is kind of what you can expect from that. Right. From there, our first night would be Lake Louise, Alberta. And, this is more of a summer deal. Don't worry, anyone that thinks that this is always like the frozen north, it's not, but there's a winter deal.
So as you're saying that, Donkey says that he's doing this trip this week. So Donkey, if you don't mind, because it's always good to actually have somebody drive the route first. So if you're seriously doing this, it would be great for you to kind of share some feedback on what it's like in mind of people driving their Fox bodies along here. So if there's maybe go this way, not this way, or be cautious of this or any of that, that'd be greatly beneficial. Because actually Steph was, making a point of that to us when we had her on the podcast about, it's always good to have somebody drive it first so that way there's no serious surprises.
Yeah. So yeah, Kelowna to Lake Louise, that would be our first stop of the trip. You get to go through the Rogers Pass, all kinds of mountainous peaks and everything else that, you get the full effect of what British Columbia and the mountains.
Show some summer pics.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
So just because there's snow on the mountains, it's still, notice that girl's wearing a t-shirt. You're good.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Lululemons are welcome.
Absolutely.
Look at this ice sculpture. Son of a gun.
Oh, we got Steve. Steve's in the house from Altered Stangs, another Canuck. Steve, I know. I actually told Steve because he's got like this Pro Tour Fox build, and I'm like, man, get it done, get it ready. Pro Tour.
Kicking on here, buddy. Hold
Look at him run.
So from Lake Louise, we'll go back to the map. Our next stop is Great Falls, Montana. Can maybe zoom in a little bit here. So we would cross the border. Where the hell is that? Sweetgrass, Coots, Alberta, down into Montana. Go through what looks to be Shelby, Montana, and down into Great Falls. So here's Great Falls, Montana. Look at that beauty. Right? Throw your kayak on the roof of your box.
Hey, we were actually joking, guys, because
well, that's Niagara Falls, right?
Somebody did ask how many confirmed people are in this. Honestly, that's why we're doing the live. We haven't really pushed or gone out, but there is one other gentleman who has a convertible, oddly enough. And we're like, man, if we all bring convertibles, we can fill up all the luggage racks.
Yeah, there you go. Use them for what everybody jokes around what they're intended to be used for. Right. So outside of just Great Falls being in and around that 500-mile mark, there's really nothing else special about Great Falls. Beautiful scenery and cheap cold beer. So Great Falls would be an overnighter. From Great Falls, now this is where she gets interesting, ladies and gents. We head down to South Dakota, right?
No. Yes. No.
Yeah.
No. Devil's Tower is not in South Dakota.
I think it is.
Oh. It's Wyoming.
Oh,
It's
Wyoming. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Right. So get a load of this.
So it's a big day, guys. So the idea here is that we would have to leave really early this morning to catch Devil's Tower to get this sunset picture just like this.
Yeah, this is something else. So Devil's Tower would be the next stop. And I think, well, there's really nowhere to sleep unless we want to light a fire at Devil's Tower. So we'd come out of Devil's Tower at dusk. And then where the hell was the stayover, dude?
We had a couple little options, kind of depending how close we wanted, like Rapid City-ish area, I think.
Right. And actually, yeah, for anyone interested, like we'd go right through Sturgis. And Rapid City, okay, when Chris and I were mapping this out, this is pretty cool. Like anybody on here from the Americas that knows this, by all means chime in. But this Box Elder, I mean, must be like a big military base or something, because the closer in I zoom, the more I see like what looks to be proper jets docked at that airport. Maybe they let us take a rip down the runway.
There you go.
All right. What are you stupid Canadians doing here? We just want to go down the runway, please. Okay. So are you keeping up on the comments, buddy?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So from Devil's Tower, we hit the world famous Mount Rushmore. I don't think we need a photo of that, but for what it's worth, boom. So a little sightseeing, right? Look at this one. Man, that's an impressive deal. All right. Spend the night. Where's my map? Was Rapid City? Maybe we spent the night in Rapid City.
Well, no,
we
just wanted to get
a morning deal.
Yeah, so we wanted to get as close to Rushmore. So, guys, actually, Donkey said that Rapid City isn't the best place to be at night, which fair enough. So, depending on the interest here, and what people want to do, actually, we'll get into that a little later. But in terms of like the accommodation side of things, we do want to try and keep it as cool as possible, not just kind of downtown and generic. Again, it depends how many people end up doing this. Like if we get 10, I think we'd be like 10 cars. It'd be awesome for a first time thing. If there's more, then great. If there's less, that's fine too. But yeah, we'll talk about the accommodation thing after.
Yeah. Okay. Now from Rushmore, we'd hit Sioux Falls. And a photo of that is here. South Dakota. Never been through the Dakotas myself. Think it'd probably be neat to say a person did. This is beautiful. Whatever the hell's going on here. It looks like this rolls right through the middle of town.
Yeah. So Donkey, if you can like go find out all the good photo op spots and let us know, that'd be great.
Yeah, good grief. Look at this. Holy shit. Okay. So moving right along. Sioux Falls is where? Further along this way, I believe. Yeah. Okay, there's Sioux Falls. Hope I'm saying that right. And then from Sioux?
No, just Sioux.
Sioux?
Like S-U-E. I'm almost positive that's how it would be.
Like a boy named Sue?
Yeah.
Okay. From there, we're going to Madison, Wisconsin. And I was saying to Chris, I'm like, there's like something that stands out to me about Madison, Wisconsin. There's like a movie from the 80s, like Chris Farley shit or something that reminds me of Madison, Wisconsin.
I have a feeling there'd be some really good food and beer down there.
Yeah. Well, it looks like this pretty little photo is got a little snow on the ground. We don't want any of that.
It's got to be the capital of Wisconsin.
No doubt.
That's a beautiful building.
Yeah,
reminds me of Austin, actually.
Right. So yeah, Madison, and then obviously scooting along from there, we'd come down and around the bottom of Lake Michigan through. Check this out. Just noticed this earlier. Gary. Wonder what the hell's going on there. Sounds like a hell of a time. And ultimately end up in Dearborn. And for anybody that hasn't been there, boom shakalaka. Ford World Headquarters. Oh, here we go. Yeah, dude. Tommy Boy was in Madison. I think he's right. One of the best movies ever. Yeah, so that's kind of the lay of the land, ladies and gents. It's about 2,555 miles of pure bliss in a Fox body.
Well, we did have that option that would bring it up to 3,000, right? If we went up like North Michigan, went up and around instead of through Chicago. So that was something that we were looking at, but so we could go north Wisconsin and then go all the way up and over the Great Lake there.
Yeah. So I think to Donkey's point about Rapid City, like Chicago, we'd want to make sure we were going top speed through there.
Yeah.
Shout out Chicago. Yeah. And anyway, ultimately end up in Dearborn. I mean, probably in around beer 30 and go meet Bill and the boys. Again, this is all just hypothetical, folks. Like if people are serious about doing this, then Chris and I'll get more serious than we already are. But yeah, like set up a bit of a finish line, beer, burgers, barbecue, whatever at the far end. Maybe the finish line's Ford World Headquarters, photo op, and then settle in Wednesday evening. And then the fun begins. Motor City Foxfest fun begins Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yes, Zach. So some of you guys might be commenting on from watching Gary's live. Some of you guys might be watching my live. So we are seeing both.
Oh, shit.
But when we answer something, you guys might not see what we're talking about. So yeah, just keep that in mind, I guess.
Oh, hey, check this out, Chuck. Gary, Indiana is not a great place. Right. Noted.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, Donkey Fix said the same thing.
you have to stop there.
Yeah, so that's kind of the option A, ladies and gents. And option A has, like we've been saying, a few different versions to it. I mean, there's the main version. You want to get real serious and you want to truck your car out west and drive it the whole way. We're going to, for those that want to do this, if there's enough and this all makes sense, we'll book Airbnbs along the way and yeah, more or less throw a 5-day party.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I guess the best analogy to this is we want to almost like make it like the Fox Block experience that we've done for Foxtoberfest. You know, whether it's one massive house that can accommodate enough people, or maybe it's a couple different options. Now, everybody's probably got a different budget. For instance, Lake Louise guys, like the night at the Fairmont at the hotel that's at the base of this thing, Gary, you can probably pull up that picture. Like that's $1,500 for the night. And not that every night is going to be a $1,500 night. It will not be. But, that's like a once in a lifetime, place and facility. Like a Fairmont is no joke. So there's going to be kind of that end of the spectrum, like if you guys want to ship your car out enclosed and there's rooms that I think are suites that go for like $5,000 a night if you guys want to be like serious ballers. But yeah, it can go all the way to that extreme, and we will help organize that all the way to if you want to tag along and show up at any point in the route and you want to hit up the Holiday Inn Express, or you want to do whatever else on your own, then that's absolutely completely fine as well. Like we get it.
A la carte.
Yeah.
Okay, there's been some questions on like total and whatever. So guys, we haven't got like real intimate and serious with this quite yet, just because we don't know if anybody's going to want to do it. So, I mean, Chris and I are already limited with the stuff we got on the go at the moment. So we don't know exact costs, but we've roughly guessed if you want to be part of the full meal deal where you get your your car trucked out west, and then you hit all the Airbnbs and all the goodness all the way through, it's about $5,000. Now that's on a little bit of a moving scale until we've got this all solidified, but that's kind of where we're gauging it. And then there's also been a question here from Bill. What about a truck out west? Well, Bill, if I'm driving my car, I'm gonna have to figure something out. So yeah, that will be.
Well, so the other thing there, two things. Remember, let's say it's 5, let's say it's even 6, because Tom, War Admiral, kind of guessed it'd probably be around $6,000 to do the whole shebang, at the 5-star level. Now, you're going to have a co-pilot. At least most of you, I would think, would. So as long as you and your co-pilot can figure out whose car you're taking, and you split on the gas, you split on the accommodations and everything, you are cutting that generally. Like you're sharing a room, you're doing all those things, you're in it for, call it $2,500, give or take, per person. Now, again, somebody's got to commit to their car. Now, on point number 2 about after the show, if we get enough interest in this, and this is sort of where Gary is sitting right now, and this might even play off of option B, because we're talking about option A right now, is, well, if this is a success, then is there a way to kind of temporarily hold the cars and then do another one that goes down to Foxtoberfest or Brent's show, end of September, or any of those? And then from there, can go to the LMR cruise in. And then, so we're almost trying to dream up a way where Gary can get his car home doing like full loop. Now, of course, it's not going to all happen in one trip, but just to kind of throw it out there, this is like where we're dreaming big and like whiteboarding, and like the ideas, the beers are flowing and the ideas are maybe all right, maybe terrible.
Yeah. We're spitballing.
Yeah.
So, Curtis, I'm pretty sure we had dialed this in Monopoly money, hadn't we?
No, I think that's like real money. Because like the
Right.
fuel I mapped out, like I think it's about, if you were 20, I think I did 20 miles per gallon, right? I think we decided to be about $400 just in fuel if your car gets that. Now, I think we've done reasonably well on our road trip. Shit, the ship box even got better than 20.
Yeah, I think we averaged like 24.
Yeah.
I've got it here. Oh Christ, she averaged 28, the old bitch.
Unreal. And man, that thing was like high rev. Like that was like 80, 85 mile an hour, high revs.
Is that even worth reading?
It would be if you didn't have the screen share going on, but yeah.
28.77 miles per gallon.
Unreal.
It's over 1,400 miles. Yeah, we were getting 443 miles per tank.
Oh man, as I look at it through the window right now, I'm just amazed.
Yeah, was there something else we needed to touch on there?
Oh, Donkey made a good point. So there's that option, or like I said, if you can get your car to Windsor, then we have the transport rate, possibly from Windsor, or actually even probably, I'd have to double check. But yeah, we'll try and like, for the people that are in Canada, as soon as you pay a transport company to cross the line, things like exponentially go up. So if you can get your car across the line, whether it's on the far end or the close end, that is going to save a lot of money. So that's a good point, Donkey.
Yeah. And I guess we should also mention too, so this initial transportation pie in the sky idea, like this is properly enclosed, like your car is essentially getting the white glove treatment out west. There's open air options. There's again, you can a la carte this however you want, but we just wanted to provide everybody with a little bit of a high level. Here's what a package A could look like if you wanted to just blow the doors off and have a trip of a lifetime kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, was that all we had, buddy? Or should we get into option B?
I think that pretty much covers the basis. Like the reality here, guys, is like, you got to think about it. You need time off. You're going to need some financial commitment, because if we do, and I think me and Gary need to figure out what the minimum would be that we need to be able to put this together. I would think we could probably do it with like even 5, because it would actually keep Airbnbs quite simple. Like if everybody was on that wagon, and then from there, anybody who just wants to tag along or do the a la carte or jump in at a certain point can do so. But if it doesn't work, or maybe you guys say there's not enough time, we need a year in advance to plan for this, that's completely understandable as well. So I think it's one of those things, like feel free to reach out to either myself or Gary, whether it's Instagram or through email, or however some of you guys have us on speed dial. So it's just a matter of like really getting an idea and putting some numbers together. And then if that doesn't work, then we have option B, possibly. Again, this is just kind of like talked talked the option through like organically. It was kind of weird how it happened, but it makes sense at the same time.
Yeah. So plan B, if plan A is there's no interest or whatever, we're talking about, I guess, a mini convoy from Toronto area to Detroit. But I guess, again, this is all hypothetical. We haven't talked to anybody, whatever. We just cooked it up in our brains. Have a couple of days, like maybe get together with a bunch of folks in Toronto area, a little bit of a pre-game meetup, and then convoy from there down to Dearborn to ultimately, again, take in the Motor City Foxfest show.
Yeah. And the idea there would be, I think we had it something like, instead of, we'd start it that weekend before and try and get like the Toronto Fox Body Club and some other clubs involved. And much like that Mississauga meet that goes on, that I know, what's his name, Frank's involved in, and a bunch of other guys in terms of their groups. So to do something like that, then maybe have a couple days, like the Monday and Tuesday, we would maybe do like cottage country driving and cruises. There's a lot of roads out there that that I know myself personally am familiar with from doing cruises and everything else. We could find good breweries. We could do that between the Monday and Tuesday, and then ultimately the Wednesday, we would make sure that we're hitting Detroit, because Bill and the crew from Motor City Foxfest have their other agenda and pre-show meetups and everything else going, I think, starting on the Thursday. So that's why it'd be nice to be there by the Wednesday night, and that way kind of tag on for the activities for the actual show itself.
Yeah. So both options do have a lot of hair on them. They could be fun. And one is a little less intense than the other for sure. But this all kind of stems, I guess maybe we could get into this a little bit, like stems out of what I think a lot of folks have been chit-chatting about on the social medias, right? Like, how do we spice things up a little bit in the bedroom, so to speak, right? And we all talk about driving these cars. I mean, Chris and I did a pod with Mr. Robert Miller about 2 months ago now, and he talked about, in his younger years, wanting to like ship his car out west and drive it back home out east. And I guess kind of remind ourselves, especially those of us from this generation, what it was like to love to drive, right? Like, I mean, I can remember when I was 14, 15 and somebody was complaining about having to drive somewhere, and I'm like, oh my God, all I want to do is drive. Like, I'll do your drive for you, right? And we are getting long in the tooth, and these do take a toll on a guy. Chris and I have done 2 of them now, so we're very familiar with it. But it's a ton of fun, folks. And like, the memories that get created in these trips are unbelievable. I mean, honest to God, I know that somebody somewhere at my eulogy will bring up the fact that I drove across the country a couple of times with some dude that I'd never even met before.
No, and it's funny. We there's a good friend of mine who Gary knows as well, who's out doing a little bit of a big trip right now before a big life-changing career change and everything else. And I explained to him that I've gone in debt traveling, especially when I was younger, but I never regretted it. Like, spending money on an experience like this, and I'm not trying to sound like a salesman, there are memories that will last forever, and it's associated with the thing that we all love, which is these boxes on wheels. And in fact, the Stalker Vert back there, it did Mustangs Across America 10 years ago next month.
Yeah.
So that started at Saline in Corona, California, and then went all the way across and ended up in Charlotte. So, it's and that was actually a vert too. I swear these verts are just meant to road trip. They really are.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So just, I guess, try to revitalize some things here and
Instead of buying the blower, do the trip.
There you go. Yeah. Don't buy used. Long story there, folks. We won't bore you with that one. Anyway, yeah, and just getting these cars and lube the seals, right? Get out and enjoy them because it's a ton of fun. The show is a ton of fun too. And I think we've talked about this a bunch. Like Chris had been to Detroit before. I never had. And I think I said on one of these lives last year, I was like, well, one of two things is going to happen, right? Either I'm just like this dumb, doughy-eyed Canadian that shows up like, oh, everybody's happy, go lucky, whatever. And it's going to be what a lot of people talk poorly about Detroit like, right? And so I showed up. I mean, that town is unreal. It really, truly is. It reminded me of pretty much, I think I speak for everybody when I say this, like when we were all kids in our driving teenage years, and it was like you could be parked anywhere and be like, oh, somebody's racing, right? Like you can hear it 10 miles down the road, somebody drag racing light to light. That's Detroit everywhere that we went. Like it really truly is Motor City. I'm getting goosebumps saying this. It's wild, wild, wild.
And you haven't done Woodward yet. That is, you need to do that.
Yeah. So are we planning on having a chase truck? Yeah, we did actually talk about Shop Dad maybe being the chase truck. Who knows how that'll all work? I mean, again, folks, we can get as crazy as this as everyone wants to.
Shop Dad does have a Connect, which his float can hold, I think, 3 Foxes. So that'd be something where, that'd be an open option where we could potentially get him to get 3 cars. That would be from Toronto area ish, out that way. And then we could, he could be a chase vehicle back. I don't know how many of these cars will break down on us. Fingers crossed, none. Bring your TFI modules, folks. You'll be fine.
Oh, Brent. I said I didn't want to get into it. Yeah. So I guess that's the other thing worth mentioning. Like this whole 5-day estimate is banking off the fact that nothing blows up. Nobody has a meltdown. But again, I think everybody knows this without saying it. Like that's what makes these trips fun, right? For anybody that does anything like on dirt bikes or ATVs or whatever, it's not a good day unless somebody gets stuck or somebody breaks something, right? That's when the fun happens. So, yeah, and just think about it. We're all in good hands, right? We're all car nuts. Everybody pack a pair of coveralls and we'll roll under there and get her done.
Okay. There you go. Oh, listen to this guy talking. Drive your car. Gary, you did skip over. So, who was it? Finally, Fox asked which car you're bringing.
Oh, here it is. Well, okay, because we actually kind of skipped over a point as to how the whole plan B would work too. And I think this is worth bringing up and we can probably get some mileage out of it. So for those that don't know, Chris, who doesn't already have enough Fox bodies, is the proud owner of a new one. And I'm sure everybody in this whatever live knows the deal already, but we were teasing him the other night on the podcast, like, dude, the horseshoes that you have up your ass are made out of pure gold, Anyway, so we've kicked around the idea with option A of bringing that car out west, and then he and I would ultimately road trip the convertibles across. I guess plan B, both plans kind of involve that car. Plan B would involve us flying to Toronto and then getting in that new Cabernet Red Vert and heading south in it. And now before anybody goes beating me up on all this, right? And yes, a lot of I am having some struggles, some marital struggles with this used blower that I have. The vert, right, has the luggage rack, and I can throw my tent on the back of it. Like, we can actually have something to drink beer under once we get to Detroit.
Or on the stops. On the stops, just throw it up.
Totally, yeah. We can pop that unit up, get out of the sun, work on these old turds, whatever. Whereas the Notch has a brand new, freshly painted deck lid, so we're not putting the tent on that.
Could get a roof rack for it, though.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't Tom wanting to put BMXs on roofs of Foxes and stuff?
He was talking about that, but I highly doubt that's happening to the War Admiral. Yeah, here we go. Grilling space, right? Throw the barbecue in. We can have a little hot dog on the side of the road, whatever. So, yeah, so it'd be the vert that I'd be driving east in. And then, yeah, the poor girl would probably, this kind of goes back to Bill's, right here, Bill. He was asking about getting back west. Again, Chris, he kind of talked about it, right? Thinking maybe we could work a little route and hit a few more shows as the months move on. But yeah, like the vert, for all it's worth, would probably just live somewhere in Detroit, hopefully in a compound somewhere. And yeah, live there until I can get my shit together and figure out how to get it home.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'll believe this when I see it. Come on. But yeah, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, folks, but like this Fox block that Chris talks about, some of you might not even know what the hell he means by that, but we rented a house as a group 2 Foxtoberfests ago. They did actually last Foxtoberfest too. I wasn't there, but and it was funny. Like, some people knew each other, a lot of people didn't, and there was some grumblings quietly leading into like, hey, like, who is this guy or gal? And like, you know, we're going to be sleeping in the same house as them. It's like, fuck, don't worry about it, right? It's going to be fine. And nobody got murdered. It was great. We're all best buddies now, right? And that is kind of the essence that we're trying to create with something like this, right? And happen over 5 days, lots of time to appreciate the cars. Because that was one of the biggest things that we found with having that house was, you know, like, doing the car show thing's great, but you never really get to just walk around with a beer and, like, you know, get down on one knee and check things out and, you know, oh, what'd you do here? How'd you do that? Whatever. And these trips are that, right? And nothing but. Like, you really just get to have the full-fledged experience.
Yeah. Man, that's a good presentation.
Right? Like, corporate blood coming back out of us here.
I feel like we were trying to sell a timeshare.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, Bill. That would work out, you know? So, anyway, I guess that's kind of the lay of the land. Hey, buddy?
Yeah. No, I think we got it covered. I think the message is out, and it's just a matter of figuring out who else is crazy enough.
There was a question that we had here about, okay, here it is from 1K Notch. I think, like, this is probably where the information is going to lie for now.
Actually, you know what? I don't mind throwing something up on my website real quick. I can do a page, like a quick little blog post, and then we can link to it there. Kind of, because that's what ended up happening with the Shipbox Fox. So
right.
It'll be easy enough. I can throw something up there that just, obviously, it'll be deemed tentative or dreaming big, however you want to look at it. But yeah, we'll put as much information as we can up there, and that way, contact information, I'll throw like the contact form in there as well, so that way you guys can actually message directly. But yeah, we'll post something up. When can I have that up by? I'll try and have it up by end of day tomorrow, and then, you know, we can post it on our community posts for YouTube, and then we can throw it on Instagram. Obviously, we want to try and promote and get the word out there, so you guys are more than welcome to reshare the link and the crazy idea with whoever you think. And again, like, think about who, like, this is typically, and that was the one thing that me and Gary need to figure out, is that if I do ship the Vert out there, technically we're not a co-pilot for one another. So we've got an empty seat in each car. So that's something to keep in mind, because it's a lot of driving, guys. So pick your co-pilots carefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even if it's the wife, that's fine. Like, I admire those who bring the better half or the worser half, depending who they are. On some of those, kudos. So
yeah,
by all means.
Yeah. And then I guess the final ask would be, folks, think long and hard about it. If you're into it and, you're, I guess, willing to say, yeah, I'll put my money where my mouth is, reach out and let us know that. There's no, upfront commitment or anything. Like, I mean, Chris and I are just, for those that are going to do this, right, we're going to ideally have like this pot of money that is going to like take care of the accommodations, whatever. So we're not asking for anything up front. It's just, if you can imagine yourself really truly doing this, if we get on here again and go, it's a go, then you're committed. Okay. So just, don't, I don't know, maybe kind of, and please no like tire kickers. Cause this is going to be like a heavy lift for the two of us to put together, and a financial lift too. So make sure you're serious about it, please, if you're going to say that you are. Okay.
Because it is Facebook
place,
yeah. I don't think there's anybody in here that wouldn't do it if, they had the time off and they had the means and everything else. Like, who would say no to that?
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things that, like, yeah, it is a commitment, because, between it and the show, you're looking at almost a good week and a half off. Right. So I can't speak for work schedules. So, there's that. Yeah. The money's worth it, though. Honestly, that I guarantee you.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, I guess, yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. Would be a ton of fun, and I look forward to the shows this year, right? Hopefully, like, there's a small part of me that obviously doesn't want to drive across the country, but there's a small part of me that does, because, like you said, then it opens up options for me to have this car maybe down at FOXTAIL or whatever the case may be. And I know there's a lot of you out there that like to kick me in the nuts and go, hey, are these cars real? Like, we ever going to see them? Like, yeah, I'm way the hell up here in the middle of nowhere, right? So I'd love nothing more than to drag one of these things down. But full disclosure, these things look way better in photos than they do in real life, okay? I need to put that out there. Little disclaimer.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, this is, the name FOXTAIL 3000, to me, at least, playing off the gumball, for anybody who's not familiar with what the Gumball 3000 is, that tour with whatever cars are going to enter into that is actually down through Thailand and Malaysia and Singapore and all this crazy shit this year, which I forget how many. Is it 20-year anniversary?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. And like, guys, that costs like, I remember when it was 50 grand. So I'm sure it's probably like 80, if not 100 to enter that for 1 week. So we're like a tenth of the cost here in shitty old Fox bodies.
Okay. We got some folks jumping in. Yeah. Fuck it, Tom. We got some folks jumping in late here. Jim, you have to maybe, so we don't bore everybody, just rewind and catch the start of it all. We lay out the dates and all that good stuff. So, all right, I knew everybody was going to appreciate that. Oh, it's better in person. Jesus, the other way around. Huh. Okay. I don't know.
There are some cars like that, though. There are some that legitimately look better in person than in photos.
Yeah, like the shitbox Fox.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you tell the story you told me the other day about taking that thing to work and getting it running right? Started with the balancer.
Yeah, so I put a 28 ounce balancer on it, thinking that it's a stroker, so it shouldn't have a 50. And we threw a billet 50 on that Brian gave us, not even really thinking. And there was actually a 50 on it, if I remember correctly, and the rubber was messed up. But, and I don't know, maybe some of you guys can chime in, but I haven't seen a 347 with a 50 ounce balancer on it ever. And I know that the flywheel had drillings for what looked like typically what you would see with a 28 ounce. So I put that on. The other option would have been a 0, but it definitely took some vibration out. Part of me wants to stick a 0 on it just to like compare and contrast officially, because we really don't know. And what else was it? Oh yeah, it had tons of little wiring gremlins that appeared out of nowhere. So it was like the radio and the lights wouldn't kick on unless you revved it, and it didn't want to start all the time. So I actually changed the starter. I go out of my way to change the starter, and that wasn't the issue. It was literally the post, the distribution positive post that was in the inner fender, and just some bad connections in there. So I cleaned that up. That's all fixed. Yeah, drove it to the shop and back the other day, and now I've got it scheduled to get at Make It Loud Exhaust, who did all the stuff for my M5 recently, and he's going to get the tips to like follow the contour of the Cobra bumper better. Going to keep the rusty tips, just going to get them, just get them angled the right way. That's all.
That car, actually, that's probably worth bringing up too, right? Like, I think a lot of these folks have probably heard the story of what we went through, and I mean, laying on the shop driveway that night, going like, "Good gracious, I don't think we can do it," right? But yeah, like we threw that car together. Now, granted, outside of our time, like the car, we're not married to it like Chris would be to, say, the silver one behind him, or I would be to this convertible. So, but we still were, and like we risked everything of potentially being stranded in the middle of Lord knows where. And
Indiana.
Yeah. So even with all of this shit that we, I guess, had just statistically weighed the options with and went, all right, let's do it. We made it, right? Yeah. And here we still are to tell the story. I mean, I really wished that we could have done more of what we just finished talking about, because like we had big plans, right? Let's stop in Nashville for the night and whatever else. That would have been a hoot, but whatever. We ran right to the bitter end and got there right on time, pretty much.
Well, and you know, when me and Lewis did Mustangs Across America in the Stalker Vert, the car had been purchased. This was like the first buyback of that car from a friend of mine, and it ended up at it was in Texas, and I think Charles took it out, and there was something. It was overheating, and it had all the signs of a blown head gasket. So Charles facilitated some guy to rebuild the motor real quick, like just a quick hone, rings, new head gasket, slapped it back together, because me and Lewis needed to drive this thing across the country. Had the car shipped to Cali, and that was it. Like there was no shakedown, there was no nothing. We hop in this car, and man, what the hell happened? So first, the car was running all out of whack. Like the first day, we hadn't even left yet. We're just driving it around, trying to get a feel, making sure everything's working and doing what it should. Distributor wasn't tight. So it's like, and we flew in from Dubai. Like this is when we were overseas. So it's not like we had tools or anything available to us. So it's like AutoZone Can we borrow a timing light? Set the timing, lock the distributor down. Then by the time we get to like the first or second gas station stop, the blower belt's loose because the tensioner pulley for the blower belt wasn't, and we all know how that goes, those damn pulleys. And actually, who was it that just posted that trick wrench that's like super slim?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
One Fast 50. He posted this wrench that it's really, really slim. So it gets between the belt and the Vortec bracket. So you can get on that one stupid bolt head to tighten the tensioner down. So anyways, we get that tightened down. And then I'm trying to remember the chain of events here. I want to say Lewis drove over a brick. Like, I mean, like a brick for your house. I saw it. Like, I'm like, dude, and like 18
proper brick.
Just bang. And you hear that thing, tunk, tunk, tunk. It's like banging everything underneath the car. And there was a next, like a checkpoint or a stop point that was coming up. And as we're getting there, the brake light comes on in the dash, like when you have the emergency brake up.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird. And Lewis is like, I think that comes on if your brake fluid's low.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh. He's like, so we're coming off the interstate. And he's like, dude, there's no fucking brakes.
Oh, no.
We were just cruising along on the interstate. You're not using your brakes, right? So he's like, there was some brakes, but like barely. So he was actually used the emergency brake because it was actually hooked up in that car. And that brick had gone over the differential and caught the brake line to the rear caliper and severed it.
Holy.
So we limped the car to this little hole in the wall garage. They put it up. They Band-Aid the line for us in the back, bleed out the caliper. We're back on the road. And then this is Lewis's favorite part. I think I might have said this on the pod, but anyways, there's cacti everywhere. So it must have been like bordering. It's either part of California or going in Arizona, or I don't know, maybe Arizona, New Mexico. I can't remember. And we were battling the temperature in this car nonstop. So it would do this weird thing where initially it would go high and then it would like burp itself. And then it would finally come back down, or you'd have to like let the steam out of the rad cap and then you could put it back and you'd get some mileage out of it. Well, we're in an area that was going up these hills and we couldn't get the temperature to come down. So I get pissed off. I pull down this, like off the interstate or whatever state highway we're on, down this road that like Lewis, and he's right. Like I probably went like a quarter mile down this road, shut the car off. It's steaming. It's puking. He's like, you pulled us off like we're Breaking Bad is happening. He's like, there's nothing around here. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, you can buy this car for me right now for $10. Put me in an Uber. I'm flying back to Dubai. That's it. That was my breaking point. I'm like, we barely made it like into the second day. And it's like, I'm done. So we find this. Have you seen the movie U-Turn with J-Lo and Sean Penn? I think it's Sean Penn. I know J-Lo's in it. So we find this like radiator repair shop back in, it was because we just crossed out of California. So we had to cross back into California, and we get to this joint and he's like, I'm out of solder. Oh no, he takes his hand and puts it right against the radiator. And then he's like, it's hot up here. He's like, it's cold down here. He's like, you need to rebuild this. He's like, I'm out of solder. If you go down the street, get the solder and you take it out, I'll rebuild it for you. And so like the parts store closes in 10 minutes. We had already limped the car in there. So he busts down, go get the solder, bring it back. We pull this radiator. I have a picture of this. Like he had his trouble light was like one of those almost like a tie hat, like a big metal shield with like a bulb and like a handle. So like there's that hanging from the safety latch from the hood up in the air, and there's literally, you can see all of where the coolant had puked all over the front bumper cover. Like the car looked like it was destroyed at this point. And he rebuilt the radiator, and it was full of like calcium and well water and stuff, which my friend Chuck, who we bought the car back off of, used well water in the radiator. And then from there, we were smooth sailing until it rained. And then we had water because it's convertible, so we were getting wet. So we got stopped at a Home Depot. You know that like the pipe cover, the foam?
Yeah.
We got a piece of that and like just smushed it along the top of the windshield rail and then closed the top on it. Never leaked again.
MacGyver.
So I'm not going to lie. There was part of me on that trip that I was done. I hated life. It was get me out of there. Screw this. F that. F you. F the car. F it all. But now I get to tell the story, and it was literally, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It really does.
Amen to that. Yeah. I know, man, these war stories that get created out of these crazy ideas, they're the best, right? I mean, Christ, we could talk here for hours. Shit, if you guys listen to our podcast, you probably have heard all the bloody stories, right? And I think the less planning too, the funner. I mean, you gotta have a high level overview of what you're trying to accomplish, but I mean, you wing it, right? Yeah. And you trust, and shit works out. And when you got Chris with you, who has these gold horseshoes up his ass, things end up working out, folks. Okay, so we got like our rabbit's foot hanging from the mirror. As long as he's on the trip, we're good.
Oh, I better go knock on some wood.
We got to find a way to get Donkey Fix It on this tour.
Oh, I think we would instantly fill 10 spots if Donkey was on it.
Right. But he's got to be, I know we talked about this on a pod, but he's got to be like the Stig, where he wears the Stig from, it's now called Grand Tour, used to be called Top Gear, wear the helmet all the time. So nobody knows who he is. You might know due to the Crocs and all the little beads and shit he puts on him, but yeah, he could be the man of mystery.
Yep.
Maybe bring out some of those. Well, he's got some cars he could bring.
Oh, you just finished that. Is that a Notch, the red car?
Yeah, with the big center lines on it.
Yeah, and the Vortec and all that other stuff.
Oh, see, all we got to do is bring him up when he bites. I thought he might have left the chat by now.
Hey, we need a DD, man. Like, hey, shit, especially if both me and Gary are driving. It's not a good scenario.
No, it's true. How tight is that? I mean, that one you just acquired is probably like airtight. Hey, it looks it in the photos.
Oh, you mean like in terms of seals and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. My understanding is that it's pretty damn clean.
Like OE.
Yeah. You know what? The Menace car was super clean too. I was so like, whenever the rear windows can go up, regardless of the top being up or down, or front windows up or down, you know that like things are working properly.
We can accommodate, buddy. Whatever you need. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Tom, I don't drink either.
Yeah, he drinks those little mini Coronas.
Yeah, the Coronitas. Yeah, because this bitch ain't airtight. I mean, it's as close as I can get to airtight, but that'd actually be another good thing, right? If we can glue this all together, maybe I can leave it with Matt, and he can go through and fuck with all the windows and make it all straight.
There you go. Yeah, that's another thing too, guys. Yeah, we are planning on, getting some nice merch and some stickers for the cars. or windshields, whatever you feel comfortable with. Making or providing some cool swag and stuff along with it. Again, thanks to Brent for the artwork and everything else that he's done. Oh man, just be cool.
Yeah. 100%. I know it would be cool too if this just gives you a bit of an indication of how like high level our planning has been. But the couple tours that Chris and I have done, we try to hand bomb our GoPros around and try to like document this to the best of our ability while trying to do all the rest of the shit. It'd be really slick if somebody was like, hey, I know how to tell a story with a video camera, right? And whatever, drones and whatever. Because we're doing it, right? So it's like, let's get the most out of it, if at all possible. If somebody knows somebody or they'd be interested, again, like Chris said, if this is a go and we've each got a passenger seat open, hop in, right? Because I think we'd get so much more out of it. Like there's shit he and I talk about all the time, right? Where it's like, my God, if one of us would have just had an open hand to have a camera going at the time, right? But whatever. That's GoPro and 101, right? Batteries overheating and not enough memory space. And so if somebody wants to throw their hand up in that regard, please do.
Yeah. Oh, what do we got here? Yeah, I think we need, definitely, for anybody who's chimed in here, we'll have a page up and a link and stuff like that, so you guys can chit chat and we can try and figure this out, because like we're not that far away, right? Like we're March now. Like daylight savings is here, which, by the way, they need to end. Like just leave it the way it is right now. I don't want to go into fall and then they start saying we're winding shit back again.
Yeah, it's true. I know this always messes me up too, right? There's definitely some truth to how your internal clock operates, right? Because you're always going like, what is going on here? It seems like it should be. No, but it's not. And it messes me up for a couple of weeks afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of lighting up Donkey Fix, ladies and gents, Tom, War Admiral, light him up too. So I don't know that. You all right? Holy Christ. I think Chris has just been abducted by aliens. Light up Tom here too, even if we got to throw him in a passenger seat.
There we go.
You all right?
Yeah, man. Compressor kicked on. I was like, oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was loud. Even if we got to throw Tom in a back seat, hell, we'll throw him on a luggage rack even, right? His skinny little ass would fit back there. Get him on this tour as well.
Yeah.
Who is the other one? The one guy that we have tentatively confirmed, we're going to just leave that one a little bit of a high-level secret for now.
Yeah, I think we should, because even his car is still kind of being mysterious and high level.
Right. Okay. We got some photographers in the house. Need to find a co-pilot. And not shipping my car from Eastern PA to Canada. War Admiral, you got lots of money. You just buy one out here. Lots of clean foxes out west. Actually, that would be another sweet one too.
Yeah.
I don't know. And actually, you're what? Sorry?
I'm echoing. I can hear myself through your.
Stand by. Technical difficulties.
I might have worked now. I just muted and then unmuted. I think it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny that. Here you go. Kind of funny that Screen Puff's not on here. He must be out running around with the kids or something, because he usually jumps on. He'd be a fun one to have on for sure. And I know he wants to do something like that, but I mean, Jesus, Murphy, like, talk about commitments. If you guys think that any of us got to commit to like sending a truck or a car across the country, that guy's coming across a bloody ocean. Wonder what that'd be worth.
I don't know. Well, I would think it's probably not as bad as we think. Like, once he gets, like, there's probably like a ferry that's quite common between, Hawaii and Cali. And then from there, he would have to truck it.
Ooh, our guilt trip's working. Okay, Danny. I don't know. I might have started that rumor.
You did.
Yeah. I was just, we were yakking on the pod. It was that big 6-hour idiot fest we had. And he said something about having a car ready for October or something. I was like, no, you were still on the pod, because I remember asking you about it after. And I'm like, did I pick up on something there? But shit, I've talked to him since, and it keeps slipping my mind. I haven't held his feet to the fire and asked him. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe a great big trip like this might bring him over to the main line.
Yeah. Chris only drink twice a year. Oh.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, with it being Sunday, I guess we could probably let everybody get back to their fams and whatever you got to do before you go to work on Monday, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think we got the message out, and I'll get that up. So, guys, any of you that are interested, by all means, do check the community tabs in YouTube, and we'll post something on Instagram as well. And we'll just have a link to the webpage. It'll have the dates, the stopover points, and everything that we've tentatively spoken about here this evening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess maybe just one more time to revisit this, like, the comment you guys could see here from Bill. I mean, in Bill's case, right, if he was to say, yeah, I'm in for option A, well, obviously some of this wouldn't pertain to him. So again, you guys can probably imagine why we keep reiterating this. Like, this is going to be a massive amount of organization. So those that are committed, really, really committed, or would be into it if we said it's a go, let us know. And then we can start like mapping this out, right? This guy's in from this point, this is how much, blah, 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 right? So it'll be a logistics nightmare. I already know that. We'll be drunk by the time we're done planning it. But yeah, anyway, let us know. And Brent must have been sleeping when we mentioned that. July 5th, buddy.
No, I think he means, like, do we have a date where we're making it official versus saying, no, it's not happening?
I guess we maybe should put something on that, eh? Bit of a deadline.
Yeah, because if we don't do option A, then we need to start planning for option B. So very good point, Brent. And the reality is, I think we should probably April 1st. And then that way, that gives us till May 1st to plan option B. And it's always good to have, a little bit of time in between of not having to worry about things. So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So beginning of April, guys, think about it over the next kind of 2.5, 3 weeks, and reach out, email. I mean, Chris and I aren't very hard to get a hold of. We got shit all over the place. So let us know. And we'll keep talking about it till then, and hopefully we can glue something together.
All righty. Well, thanks, guys. We'll be seeing you soon, and hopefully hearing from you soon, maybe even driving with you soon.
True story. Yep. Fresh new podcast tomorrow on both Rolling in My 5.0 and 5.0 Asylum 2, ladies and gents. Check that out. We did a little collab here on Thursday night, was it? That'll be coming out tomorrow. All right. Selfless plug over. We're out.
Done.
Cheers. Night, guys. Salut.